You've spoken about the value of religious faith in your life, of your Hindu faith, and seeing the Bhagavad Gita as a spiritual guide. So, what role does faith in God play in your life?
It's everything. It is central to who I am, what inspires me, what motivates me, where I find strength, where I find peace, where I find shelter, and where I find happiness. And this has been a constant um, throughout, times of challenge, times of darkness, times of heartbreak, times of happiness. In always feeling very secure in knowing that God's unconditional love is ever present. And no matter what else is happening in my life, that God is my best friend. And remaining centered and grounded in always remembering that and meditating upon that truth is, it's everything to me.
The interesting thing about the Hindu God is how welcoming the religion is of other religions. Just
It's true.
how accepting it is. It's so in that way, in many ways, it's one of the most beautiful religions on earth. So, like, who do you think God is to you? Like, in the specifically the texts, but also you personally, what does he represent? So for Hinduism, it's also like God can be many. Like, there's also like a aspect where it's like a part of all of us. There's like a uniting thing, not a singular figure outside of us.
I think one of the things that's most commonly misunderstood about Hinduism that people don't know is that Hinduism is truly a monotheistic
Mhm.
religion. That there is one God, and he goes by many names that describe his different qualities and characteristics. And as you pointed out, Hinduism is um, uniquely a non-sectarian spiritual practice, essentially. It's not a quote unquote religion that you convert into or you leave behind or whatever the case may be. Uh, Bhagavad Gita, a central scripture and text um, that comes from India, literally means "song of God," and the principles that are conveyed throughout the Bhagavad Gita are applicable to all of us. They are timeless truths that whether you consider yourself Christian or Catholic or Muslim or Jewish or Hindu, these truths are eternal and relevant through all time. So for us as kids growing up, um, we learned from and had bedtime stories that came from both the Bhagavad Gita and the New Testament. My dad was raised Catholic, my mom was raised Episcopalian, and both of them were attracted to the Bhagavad Gita as they were in their own lives searching for a more personal relationship with God than they had been able to find elsewhere in their own spiritual journeys. And that's where the application of there are teachings in the Bhagavad Gita, for example, that talk about bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga essentially translates into uh, dedicating your life, striving to develop a loving relationship with God. Karma yoga. There's a chapter in the Bhagavad Gita that speaks about karma yoga. Karma is a word that has become a part of both karma and yoga have become very common terms. But what it really means is trying to dedicate your actions in life that have, in a way that have a positive impact on others, being of service to others. And so for me growing up, I never really understood as a kid the idea of sectarianism, of one religion battling against another, because I knew and understood and experienced um, that the real meaning of religion was love for God. no matter what name you worship him by or how you worship. That is the real meaning of religion, and the application of that in your life is um, you asked, how do I see God in a personal way? I know that God is my best friend. God is my confidant. When I am struggling with a problem in my life, or, during those quiet moments by myself, um, where I am anxious or I'm sad, I turn to God for that solace, for that clarity, for that strength to both know what the right thing to do is and the strength to act accordingly, and to constantly strive to further develop that very personal, loving relationship with God.
Tulsi, this was an honor to finally meet you, to talk to you. This was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Lex. It's so wonderful to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.